Hi Luke, great to meet you yesterday. Super session. As we said, the bulk of the work has been on your grip. We've got to try and get the feeling that that right hand is much more neutral. And we can see here on the top right, that set up initially, when we compare you with a better player, we can see that the lines don't really match up. With yourself, you've got a nice line on your shoulders, knees and feet. They all sympathise with where you're aiming the club face. However, if we look at the line across your forearms, that's substantially different. If we take a look at Dave Tom's here on the left, we can see that the line on the shoulders, the line on the forearm, knees and feet are all pretty much in sympathy with where he's aiming his golf club. So what we suggested was that you get the club or the grip a little bit more neutral at setup, and what that's going to allow you to do is maintain the loft on the golf club throughout the swing. You will take a little look here at what happens with Dave Toms as he takes the club away. There's a gentle rotation of the club face, and as we stop him at that point, round about waist level, you can see that the toe end of the club is pointing skywards, i.e. the club face will be pointing out in front of him. If we take a little look at yourself with your original grip, because of the forearm position, the club's pulled on the inside, and if we stop you at that waist level spot like we did with Dave Toms, what you're going to see is the toe end of the club pointing out in front of you and the club face pointing down to the ground. What you've done there is took all the loft off the golf club and made it very difficult for you to get longer clubs airborne. On changing your grip, we can see here now that we've got much more neutral lines. Forearms match up with what the knees, hips and feet are doing, which is sympathising with where you're aiming the club. Really good position at that point. If we take those lines away and have a little look at your club face position halfway back, and you've changed nothing other than your grip at this point, you can see now that you're much more like you would see with Dave Toms. Toe end pointing skywards, club pointing out in front of you, much more loft on the club face at that point. So again, if we just get rid of those lines and you look at the similarities between top left Dave Toms, bottom left yourself, and compare that on top right with where you were at the start of your session. So what you've done is you've neutralised your grip. The feeling is that both hands are turned in towards one another more. That's going to, as I say, maintain the loft on the golf club and allow you to get your longer clubs up in the air. Judge yourself initially on how well you strike the golf ball, not necessarily on how straight it goes. Over a period of time, you will see the ball flight start to straighten up. One of the other things we discussed was the movement of your body during your golf swing. A lot of people are out there trying to keep their head still, and again, if we just illustrate this by putting a red line on that on the Nike tick on Tiger's hat, you can see that during his golf swing his head does not stay still. So we're just going to play that swing through at half speed. There's definite head movement during a good golf swing. You can see there again, movement of the head. What Tiger does do very well, as well as every other good player, is if you take a little look at the triangle that I've used to illustrate this, there's movement off the triangle going back. So he moves to the right of the triangle and then moves left of the triangle. So there's a definite movement of his body weight. Don't try and keep your head still. Let your body weight move from side to side. The feeling that you've got, or that you should have, is that the body weight is always moving in the same direction that you're swinging the golf club. Good luck with it, and like I say, see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Well done.